Hey people, I finally had a chance to kick it with Nam Harmony, who is Nam Ki from Gamma Haven and Harmony from Village, for a good old one-on-one interview. Though I tell everyone's story, I do like to have full interviews periodically with the five major characters of the story. But know that any player can also submit questions or send in an Anchor voice message through the Anchor app. Chime in with topics, questions, or just thoughts and opinions to keep the conversation going, all from your mobile device, from anywhere. That said, this interview was conducted over our phones, and I had a great time speaking with Harmony, or Nam Harmony, to get a closer glimpse into her inspiration and thoughts of her characters. Without further ado, Nam Ki.
Hello.
Hey.
What's up?
Yo, you sound good. I thought, I didn't think it was gonna sound this clear.
Okay, yeah. I just connected with my phone. Apparently there's three people, me and you.
All right, cool. So hey, I definitely want to thank you for joining me. It's always a pleasure to have the players to kind of get a interview with the player, especially since you're going to be playing a really big role in the upcoming seasons of Gamma Haven and Village. I have some questions, and feel free to ask any questions that you may have. Talk about anything you want to talk about, but I do have some questions here, just in case you don't have anything you wanted to talk about.
Okay, let's go.
First question is, how you doing?
I'm good. It's kind of a crazy time for me at work right now, so I haven't been as caught up as I want to be. But
gotcha.
Summer's coming.
Okay, yeah. When you said caught up, what was the last thing you saw? I don't want to spoil anything for you.
I just think I haven't listened to the latest Village.
Okay.
I know about the two directors, which is cool. I'm excited about that in the new world. But yeah, I just wasn't able to listen to the latest Village podcast.
Okay, and that's okay. I'll just leave out the questions about that.
You can still ask me questions. I'll just guess at what I want to say.
So, are you okay with dying at the end of episode 2?
What?
You're like,
no.
Oh man. So first,
Wars all over again.
You said, yo, Infinity War. You saw it, yeah?
I saw it twice.
I have to see it again. I know there's some good stuff there. That was a great movie. Almost just as good as Childish Gambino's new music video.
Almost, not quite, but almost. You got me thinking about buying a $250 ticket. I'm just like,
So speaking of just buying, I just want to thank you for your patron support. It really means a lot to me. It helps a lot. And especially because you don't even have to, no one has to donate anything, of course. You don't get any kind of advantage in the game. Everything that's that comes by way of your patron tier is just more so centered around just getting to know you better in the player, and just engaging the character more, giving more insight on the character. So the fact that you donate what you donate means a lot to me, and I just wanted to let you know that I appreciate that shit.
No, it's good. I'm all about supporting local businesses and supporting people I believe in. And from the first time that I heard Peoplz and Dragons, because I'm low key obsessed with Dungeons and Dragons, even though I haven't played yet, I was like, this is an easy way for me to create a character and support someone who's trying to do something really, really big. And I think that it's going to be something special. And I'm more than happy to just throw my support in. So It's for me, it's not about the rewards. It's about supporting something I believe in.
Wow. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Let's get into it. First, I want to talk about Village, and then we can talk about Gamma Haven. I love Gamma Haven. Don't get me wrong. I actually like it better than anything I've ever created. But there's something that I see in Village as well, and there's something that I'm building towards. And, I want to see how it's received.
Um, your character Harmony is probably one of people's favorite characters in the show so far. And think about it. Everybody pretty much got the same amount of spotlight in that first episode. That's what's great about Village, because it's the characters and what you put in the character, and how you chose to create them, that makes them kind of gravitate towards certain people. That's, at least in my eyes. What do you think about that?
I agree. I really like. So I like Gamma Haven because of course, like superpowers and all this crazy stuff. But I also really like. I think that one of the things that ties together the whole Peoples and Dragons experience is the way that the characters interact, which is
Mhm.
why I love the Discord so much, because getting to connect with all the other players and seeing how they think and seeing where they want to take things, and just playing around in Smavens, like all that stuff is really fun.
Mhm.
And so I think the village is really a chance to just like see how our characters interact, see how our personalities kind of collide and clash. And I really like that you get to see a little bit of everybody's personality through their characters. And I feel like the more that I get to know people, the more of their like personalities I can see coming out in their characters.
Yes, I agree with you, and that's what it's about. It's about the social interaction. It's more slice of life with a little bit of Buffy the Vampire Slayer thrown in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I couldn't agree more, and that's why there's some potential in it, and
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. And everything has to be tested. Gamma Haven is the way it is because I was testing it for so long, and so Village is very new, and I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes, especially because of characters like Harmony. What character creation is a little bit different in Village than it is Gamma Haven. You were supposed to choose two specs.
Hmm.
Um, I'm curious as to what was your inspiration behind choosing those two specs to make I believe you called her pretty much like a rebel.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like I needed to see what the settlement was going to need before I made a person. So
Okay.
I waited a little bit of time before I actually created someone. So my original idea was to have like an Aladdin character, which
Uh-huh.
it was supposed to be like a K-pop character, but it was supposed to be like this person who was like an entertainer
I
and a
remember that.
thief.
I was like, yo, this shit's about to get lit.
That was my original idea, but then I like kind of started to see where everybody else was going with it, and I don't know, I just came up with this idea for someone who was just kind of like they didn't care about what they had, and they really wanted to throw away the world and create something different while they had everything. And then to me, like exploring, okay, now you really don't have anything. Like
Right.
you got what you wanted. Now let's see how you have to deal with it. Um,
Wow. Wow. I didn't even know that. Okay. Man. So she was ready to, she was just done with life.
she was just done with life. Like she came from a rich background, so like she had everything, which is why she has a bodyguard. She had parents who cared for her. She went to a good school. She lived in a good neighborhood, and she always just kind of wanted to like be in the underbelly, be in the gully, see what like the grimier side of life would be like. But she could do that with her privilege. So now exploring like having all those things stripped away from her and seeing how she like deals with that kind of shell shock.
Wow. Yeah, because that was actually one of my questions. Actually, my next question. I do remember you mentioned that she was kind of a rebel in the past, and she hung around with some shady people.
Mm-hmm.
She survived though. So I was wondering if she was still kind of like that, because you mentioned that she was like, she would keep her bike to kind of hold on to that part of her, that chapter of her life. That bike reminded her of her rebellious times. Um, has she Did she pull away from that before the world went to hell, and then she was kind of like living straight? And maybe the hell kind of wanted her to go back towards that.
No, I feel like she was always in that underbelly, but like in the way of like she lived in the suburbs, really. So she went to the city and she hung around with all these kind of crazy people. Then she got on her bike and she went home to like her little rich mansion or whatever, wherever she lived. And so she was never really about that world. So then when all the things started to get really crazy, she was just like it's just like a shock to her system. Like, whoa, like I can't, like this is it. I'm in it now.
Yeah.
So I think she's a little shell shocked now, and depending on like how she interacts with the characters around the settlement, is going to decide how much of her old kind of rebellious personality she gets back. Because I think a lot of what she did was like fronting, and so now she has to see who she really is.
Yes, and lo and behold, who do you find yourself hanging with? And you didn't see episode 2 yet.
Yeah, she's hanging out with Jack and what's the other character? He got his face all busted in, right? Is it Jack and Danny?
Danny Berland.
Yeah, and you know what? So funny. Jack's character was really intriguing to me as someone who I would think that Harmony would admire, in the way that like you think that a kid sister is like totally way more awesome than you.
Yes, it was like perfect, because as you're saying that in your submission, you're like, I wouldn't mind building some relationships, and the people that I feel like I would gravitate to would be either Jack or Raven, and here we have Raven, who's not in the camp at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
She stepped out with the crew, and it just was like perfect the way Jack made her character, the way you made your character, and how you both have something in common that would bring you together. And how she could, and her personality is so powerful that it only seemed right for you to kind of look up, to look at her as someone like, hey, I'm looking at life different here because of this person.
Mm-hmm.
In regards to Ryan Quinn.
Okay.
He's the wild man. He just joined the crew. He lost his daughter. I don't know if you saw his solo episode, but kind of like a prequel, but he lost his daughter. And so when he sees Nam Ki, who looks like a little kid, Nam Ki's innocent look, despite the I think you said she has pink hair, pink highlights.
Yeah, Harmony.
Harmony. Yeah, sorry. I see your name in the Discord. I'm like, I call you Nam Harmony.
I do too. It gets all mixed up.
But when he sees Harmony, he thinks, he kind of feels protective of her. What do you think about Ryan Quinn and his reaction to that, to Harmony?
So I don't know how Harmony is going to react to another to a father figure, because again, she was a rebel, so she was always trying to stay out of her parents' grasp. But then again, now that she's lost it, it might be something that she's looking for. So it could potentially be like a relationship that develops into something important to her. But I think probably at first she might just be a little like, it's either going to be two ways. So either she's going to be really, really cautious about it, or she's really going to gravitate towards it to give her like some sort of like stability. Again, because she loves having Annalise around, just because like she's that rock. She's like, she knows exactly what she wants to say, and is really a stable character. And so maybe having another person like that would help her.
Yeah, and that's we can segue into my next question is that someone that Harmony should have around? Harmony is in a shell right now. She's shell shocked. She's in a shell, and she gets a little anxiety when she's alone. And in this world, being alone could happen any moment.
Mm-hmm.
So it's dangerous to kind of have that, that mindset. It is dangerous. And I'm curious, and I would like to know your thoughts. Do you think Annalisa knows that? Is it possible that Annalisa may think about that, maybe feel guilty about it, but she can't just leave her alone? Maybe the settlement, the people you're hanging around, is a good opportunity. Maybe Annalise likes that. What do you think?
I think it's a little bit of both. Like she knows that she's attached to her. I don't think she's quite sure what she's going to do about it. She's like dipping away a little bit more to like do things to like help the settlement get a little bit more protective, and she's kind of leaving her alone a little bit so that she can kind of hang out with the warriors. And so I think she's trying to build her up to like be a little bit more independent, just in case something should happen. But I also think that she's like, I'm a badass. Nothing, like, I'm good. Nothing's gonna happen to me. But I think Harmony got a little shook in that first episode when Annalise went down for a minute, and she was like, "Oh shit! Like, what am I gonna do now?"
Yeah.
Which is why she asked like to get some lessons so that she can learn how to like defend herself a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's going to be a theme in Village is, how how Harmony grows. When, especially with Annalise not around, or is Annalise going to die? What's going to happen if Annalise dies?
I don't know if she dies. I feel like if she dies, it's either going to go one or two ways. Either she's going to go crazy and then just like not give a what about anything, and then just go ham on any kind of. She's like, I'm going out with the Warriors. I got my bat. I got my bike. I'm ready to be a badass. Or she's going to like totally break, and we'll see what happens if that happens.
Oh man.
I also like leaving things up to the dice sometimes, which is why sometimes I like putting my submission asking for dice rolls.
Yes.
Because I haven't thought everything like totally out, and I'm really like, let's see what Chance has to say.
That's awesome, because I'm pretty much Chance, and there's a lot of rolling that goes on behind the scenes, and I thought it was very amusing when. And we'll talk about Gamma Haven this second. With Nam Ki, you had asked for, I think it was, you wanted a civilian to be hurt in the scene, and just to see how Nam Ki would react to it. And if it's a bad role, she'll get mad, and if not, she'll be able to handle herself. And I think you said the odds were in the favor of kind of getting mad or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll get to all of Nam's stuff when we start talking about her.
All right. Bandit. You never mentioned anything about pets in her past. At least maybe you didn't feel it was that important. But we've noticed that you've kind of grown close to Joe Mason's dog, Joe and Johnny Mason's husky, Bandit. Mm-hmm. What kind of? I mean, is that dog some sort of crutch as well? Maybe something that she had kind of grown close to. Where does Bandit stand in her life?
I don't know. I just like dogs. I'm a dog person, so I can imagine again at the end of the world, or whatever's going on and all this craziness, just having someone who like loves you unconditionally, who could just like listen to you. You just sit there and understand one another. It's something that's really cool. I think I had put in my submission that she looks around and wouldn't be mad if she found a pet. Because I was also thinking about like, how do you handle a dog that like can't be quiet and can't always do the same kind of things that people would do when you need them to like do a certain thing for this element. So that's something that could possibly come up later. But I think it's also good about strengthening her relationships with others. Because again, Harmony is like, I got Annalisa, I don't need anything else. And so forcing her a little bit to like open up that world some. Yeah.
This will be a good time to announce. We had a little settlement contest, a little settlement lore contest. You didn't, hold up, was that, what episode was that? I don't think that was, let me think here. There was something that I had asked. Everybody got together. The community got together to build something. Oh,
the break right.
That, but also there was some in-character chat that happened in the Discord that involved you picking up a paper with some scrawling on there from Titus Zevlin. He was one of the Village characters who he's really smart. He makes weapons and all this and that. In chat, he was writing that he was like thinking to himself, and he was scribbling on the paper. And I guess it wasn't good enough for him. He just threw it. Well, yeah, no, we didn't have the supply.
Yes, yeah, I remember.
You found it and you looked at it, and I thought that was funny because I pictured it all in my head. And you being a mechanic yourself and someone who's into weapons, I thought it would be cool to make a lore contest where you decide to get everyone involved who can build something, to make something for the settlement to kind of, increase morale. Mm-hmm. So I asked by way of Anchor, anyone who wanted to kind of contribute to this thing that's going to be built. And we did have someone submit something, and I want to bring that up because between you and this person, y'all are going, I feel like it's a game show and I'm telling you what you want. Between the both of you, we're going to combine what he submitted and what you want to make. And you'll have some time to think about it. But whatever you think about, it's going to be combined with what Earl Birmingham submitted.
Okay,
This is what he said.
Earl's a really interesting character. I feel like all the people are so interesting and like they think like they put so much thought into their character. I could never.
I feel like like you just said, each character has something about them, and that's what Village is about. The different things that happen to y'all is going to bring out something from each character, and it's seeing how each character reacts and the relationships that they build. And Earl Birmingham is definitely an interesting one, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing how Earl Birmingham pretty much interacts with everyone. Not everybody's up for all that Almighty One shit. You know what I'm saying? So this is what Earl said. He said, "I believe something that Earl misses most," because that was the question. When I was having people submit something that they would want to contribute or want to be made, I asked them to consider what is something that their character misses that they wouldn't mind seeing again. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm getting sick. Earl misses the most is public radio. Earl always used to get up early and listen to many radio talk shows as he went about his day. Earl never realized how much he took radio for granted before everything went bad. Even if it was something primitive, Earl would be happy. He'd think the ability for characters to broadcast their thoughts in music could be cool. Heck, Earl would probably start a radio broadcast if he could. So me and the player of Earl started talking, and he had this great idea that a radio would be built, and it would allow every character to have a voice on the radio. Maybe they would submit something that would be broadcasted. They could have their own broadcast. What do you think about that?
That sounds really interesting. As I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking it could be combined with like a car or like a classic phone booth. So we have like a confessional place. So if somebody wants to go there, put their thoughts out on the radio, they have like a little private place to do so.
Maybe like they think it's a confession, right?
It's
a confession booth. But, to us, the players who are outside of the game, we get to hear what their character is saying. So it's like, remember that show, Real World? Rule?
Yeah.
It's like they're sitting there talking to us. And
a little break in the wall.
Yeah. Man, I think that has to happen.
That would be really cool.
The radio thing should happen too. That can just be separate, but this whole phone booth thing is kind of a good idea. So whatever you come up with, let me know. We're going to combine it with a radio. But we'll probably also try to get that phone booth thing in there somewhere.
I will. I'm one of those people who takes a lot of time putting a lot of thought into before I start submitting characters and submitting lore and stuff, which is why I probably missed the lore contest, because I just take too long trying to decide what I want to submit.
That was kind of off the cuff, that one right there, and I probably have a lot of stuff like that. So stay on your toes, people. Right. So before we get off the topic of Village, let me ask you, right now, you alluded to this in the episode, but I didn't want to touch on it yet. But who does Harmony feel could be the best leader in the settlement right now? Sorry to put you on the spot like that.
I think just by what I've seen them do around the settlement, I think she's leaning towards Deacon Myers.
Deacon Myers.
Because he's been like a really strong presence. And I think he's always the one who's kind of like going out with Annalise, and I feel like that would influence her decisions a lot as well. Okay.
Yeah. He's very active, very courageous. You didn't see all of Village episode 2 though, right?
I don't think so.
Okay. So, I mean, to what you said though, he played a big part. His leadership definitely, came into fruition in that episode in particular. So Deacon Myers, yeah, man, he's someone who has a lot of experience with weird shit. He's part of some kind of special op for the Illuminati or something, so he's definitely the man.
They all have a million things going on every time.
Yeah, from a scavenger, Kalen Ortez, to the MK Ultra Illuminati police with Raven. Speaking of
Uh-huh.
Raven, she also likes that husky as well. So that's one
Yeah,
thing y'all.
yeah. I feel like everybody loves the husky.
All right. So if y'all don't know, Harmony here is also the player of a character in Gamma Haven. Gamma Haven is the other universe that is sci-fi, cyberpunk, superpowers, uh, and so forth. Nam Ki's character has been involved in some major things in the past, and we're going to see more of that in season 2. So Nam Ki, if you don't know, you can check out her wiki. Her character is and when she mutated, it manifested in the form of some kind of nuclear fire, and it appears gold. Um, am I on the right track? That's how it looks, right?
Yeah.
So if you could kind of explain to the people, anything interesting about Nam Ki that they should know about, those who are new to the game, new to P&D, new to Gamma Haven, what are some things about Nam Ki that would be good to know?
Oh man, what about Nam? So she's the first character that I made. Actually, I joined the Discord server, like I want to say like a good month and a half before I even made a character, just because I had no idea where I wanted to go with it. And I listened to like the prequel and like a little bit of season 1 for like the longest time, because I had no idea what to do or how I was going to make someone who would fit into this like super crazy universe.
Mhm.
Um, but I really wanted to make someone who was kind of a little bit balanced, which is why I created Nam, and she has like this nuclear power inside of her. Since we're not doing a solo series anymore, we won't get to explore it as much. But in the beginning, it was really painful, like just straight screaming, almost
Mm.
dying in the hospital because it's literally like melting her from the
Oh
inside
shit! I
out.
didn't know that bad.
Yeah, and so
Listen,
she's
before you go any
okay.
further, I don't
Uh
mean to
huh.
cut you, but because I don't want you to spoil anything. But the solo series, granted, it's not called the solo series. That your character is a major character, so it's going to be part of the main story.
Okay, but yeah, but
So the
she
what's that?
I was gonna say, yeah, she had a tough time in the beginning adjusting, and then finally like kind of balancing out with
Mhm.
her training.
So it took her a while before she can even be able to just walk around without being on nuclear fire.
Right. It took her a while before she could just be normal and realize what was going on with her.
I
Um,
can picture the first time she mutated. Probably she probably just caught on fire, and probably stayed on fire until she realized that it was more intense the more she was riled up.
mhm.
That's a hard
Um,
lesson.
yeah. So I also I have crazy hair in real life. So Nam has crazy hair because again it's out of control. Let's see. She has a lavender eye and a gold eye, which I thought was pretty interesting. What else?
That's one of her most prominent features is the lavender. One eye is lavender, the other is gold. What made you come up with that? And what came first, the gold or the lavender? Were both lavender and one turned gold, or vice versa?
They were both going to be lavender, and then when she's having like too much, she's melting inside too much. She gets those gold tears, and then it just turned to her having just one gold eye and one
Wow.
lavender eye, just to keep it interesting.
What was your what was your design behind that? I remember when I read that the golden tears, I was like, first off, that's cool as shit, and second off, is it like when I think of golden tears, I think of like the glitter glue that you can get from like an art store and it's gold. Like shit, is it like that or is it like more watery?
I was thinking of just more watery, but just like gold, like kind of like ooze a little bit because it's still like a nuclear reaction. Like I'm not a science major. I'm an English major, English literature. So I like being all creative. So I don't know if you'd get like ooze coming from your eyes and you was melting inside, but that's what I imagine. And I made it gold because I like stuff that's pretty. So
like gold. So Drive and Neptune, these are people that you're hanging with now. These are people that Harmony would probably like to work out with in Village.
True.
What are your thoughts on Drive? It seems like y'all are pretty much partners now. You both, when he created his character, he was like, I want to join the Haveners. And you were like, I want to join someone. I don't care who, as long as I can fuck shit up. So you ended up with Drive. What's your thoughts on that?
It's so funny because when I actually joined, I got hooked up with some other characters, but somehow I made it around to being in cahoots with Drive. And I remember the first time I sent him a message and I was like, hey, do you have a plan on what we want to do? He was like, nah, I just wanted to fuck shit up. I was like, okay, that'll work. And that's basically his personality. And he's such, I think he's a fun person for her to be with because she's a little bit more like grounded and not as crazy, but he's just like it's about to be a bad time and so she just has to roll with it.
Yeah. And I feel like between both of you, because I try to get what y'all are putting out into the episodes, and as best as I can, I try to make it so I fully understand your character. I try, and then the way I interpret what you're writing, I want to make sure I understand it. And I feel like what y'all both wrote is a reflection of how you both feel your characters would, talk to one another. So that scene when you step into that restaurant and he's busting through the counter to just grab food, the clerk is there, and that's something that you came up with, that whole scene. And it was just added to because of what he said. He, in his submission, he was like, I want burgers, damn it.
Yeah, he said he wanted burgers, and I was like, we gotta be like a little bit more creative than that. So I threw in the extra stuff.
And you're like, yeah, let me get those hot nom noms right there. And what about Deftude? What's your theory on his plans? Do you trust him? Does he have your future in his best interest? What do you think about that?
I don't know. He really didn't care about 6 getting all messed up. He was just like, whatever, he's done now. But I think he has a lot of intelligence and he has a plan. I don't think Nam 100% trusts him, but she's also like, I'm doing okay right now. Let's see where this goes. So she's a little bit on her guard, but she's a little bit like, he's been looking out for me. Let's see where he's going to take us.
Yeah. I feel like, I wonder how do you think Drive feels about that too? Because I kind of feel like Drive feels the same way. Is that, but he's probably like, yo, if this dude crosses me, I'm just going to beat him up.
Yeah, I don't think he's definitely not on his toes because he's just like, whatever, I'll just fuck him up if he keeps messing with me. But I don't think that Drive trusts him, but I think that he's just like down for whatever because he's about causing chaos and that's what he likes to do.
And if you were a mutant who had like crazy impenetrable scales, you're probably not going to really be scared or worried about anyone,
right,
try to jump.
Like, we'll be fine.
I feel like that's what solidified y'all's relationship, that y'all were able to spar with one another without you killing him and without him killing you.
Yeah, and I think that first interaction was really, really funny because he had like some banter going on between us. And we kind of were matching one another kind of hit for hit, and I thought that was really, really interesting.
Speaking of fights, you had your first real fight in the series, at least, with the one and only Rezanak.
D-Rez, yeah.
I mean, with me, you were fighting me. But I have to ask you, when you were listening to that fight, what were you thinking? Because I know how powerful Rezanak is. His character know how powerful he is, and that's the fun of it. His character doesn't, he's like a child. It's kind of like watching, Goku fight like Majin Buu. Majin Buu, like a kid. You're fighting Rezanak. You don't know what the outcome is going to be. He doesn't know what the outcome is going to be. What were you thinking?
I don't know. I was like, this guy is putting up a lot of fight for just a regular ass guy. So I thought that was interesting. I thought it was really interesting how like emotional you played the character, and
Mhm.
how I feel like all of us were kind of going off of that. Like he was antagonizing me a bit, and unfortunately I was falling for it. But I thought that was interesting. I had no idea where it was going to go. I was like, oh my gosh, I was so worried about it for so long. Cause like, we all talked together on the Discord and stuff, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I am gonna kill this guy. And then we're just gonna kill him, and I don't even know what's gonna happen to him after that. Is he gonna cry? Is he gonna be sad?
It's funny because if you recall that phase, when that phase opened, that event phase,
Mhm.
um, that mission was exclusively for you and Drav, and
Mhm.
because he needed y'all to do something. And for those who are listening, the mission was specifically for them, and it was telling them that they had to capture someone. So the players didn't even know who they had, who they had to go after, during the event. Um, I wasn't going to tell them until they asked, and Nam did ask, but this was far after, she had pretty much, when she took the mission.
Mhm.
And they're pretty much like they were told to go get a character. Now, at one point, there was a point where I didn't know who you were going to go after. I just thought it would be interesting for you to take someone. And this, when I say story over everything, I knew that whoever you were going to take, I wanted to make a mini arc about that person. So it
Mhm.
only makes sense that it would be Rez, because I don't know if you noticed, but Rez's ability is very similar to Deftune, and it has nothing to do with him being a major patron. It's just like how R Type X is like one of the strongest characters, but that was
Mhm.
before that was just before even patron. But they have very similar abilities, so I was like, it would be perfect for Deftune to want Rezanok. So y'all go and you capture Rezanok, and you didn't even know why Deftune wants him. It's just
No.
it goes with what you were saying with going along with it until see what happens.
Mhm. Which was
Were
which
you-
was which was really interesting. I was just like, I have no idea. I still don't really know why Dev 2 wants some on our team, or if he wants some on our team, if he just wants to dissect them or whatever, because he's still technically tied up. But we'll see.
we will see. We will see. As far as what we're going to see, we're going to definitely see a lot more of Nam. A lot of. I'm interested to see what characters, what other players are going to get wound up in your life, and we're going to follow Nam's life a bit more, just like we're going to follow the other major characters. What kind of things do you think we'll likely see with Nam in regards to learning more about her, what her goals might be for season 2? Because that's still a mystery.
Let's see. Well, again, I'm kind of wanting to see where Nam goes. Like I asked about destroying a helpless civilian, just to see if she's going to lean towards more of the evil side, more towards the good side, to see how she's feeling about all this stuff that's happening. Because hanging out with these unsavory characters like she has been, um, is not usually her style. Because Nam was she used to be an escort. Like she just likes bling bling flashy things. And then suddenly now she's like fighting people, kidnapping people, killing people, and like seeing how she feels about that, and how she grows from that is what I'm really interested in seeing what happens with her. And again, I like leaving things up to chance, so we'll see.
You know,
We'll see where
I'm,
she goes.
I'm glad you said that because for the players who don't know or for the new players, I tailor the story to the character, to the player. Try to kind of get an idea what your character is doing, and I develop a story around that. So that's why you have some characters who are just really really powerful. I don't care how powerful they are, really. Like I know there's going to be tiers to it,
Hmm.
because I'm going to build a story around them. I'm going to build a story around them no matter what level they are. For example, Poke Turner. Who's fucking with Poke Turner? Like that dude is crazy.
He's
So
got crazy powers.
there's going to be a story around that that's going to fall into place. So I'm glad you told me that because now that I know your goal is to kind of see where it's like a Plinko board. You want to see where Nam falls. I'm going to create a story around you that's going to send a lot of decisions your way, a lot of decisions around. You know what I mean? And we're going to see where Nam ends up. And I think that's going to be interesting because there's a lot of characters in the game right now who will pull you in their direction, and it can be really good or really bad. You know, we have a lot of villains in our game right now. So, you know, between Deftitude and then who you cross paths with, it'll be interesting to see which way Nam goes.
Yeah. See how bad she is, really.
You're in a crazy world right now. This is cycle 78. For those who don't know, everybody discovered from season 1. Maybe I shouldn't spoil it. But you're in cycle 78. And in this cycle, Anarchy 12 has dominion over the entire city of Haven. You never met Anarchy 12. I don't know if maybe you have. Maybe that's something that can come up in the future. We don't really know what Nam's perspective is, or opinion, or her disposition towards someone like Anarchy 12. And with Nam KI being so pretty neutral herself, you know, Anarchy's crazy, but there's something neutral about him. He's smart, he's intelligent, so I guess you can consider that a lawful evil. There's a method to his madness.
Okay.
Oh yeah, see, I hit you with the D&D. Yeah, I can use that because you play D&D, right?
In my heart, I can't find a regular game.
If you know, you can perform a knowledge check and know what I'm talking about. Right?
yeah, I got you.
So, what is Nam KI's disposition towards someone like Anarchy 12 if she were to ever meet her? And I know she heard about him because he runs the world, his androids and everything is this and that. How does she feel about him?
I think she's just kind of like on the sideline. We'll see where it happens because right now she's kind of like in a little bubble away from him because she's linked up with Deftitude. He's someone that she has her eye on.
Okay.
To see exactly what you do because as you say, he's kind of neutral, but he has a method to his madness, and I think that the more that she hangs out with these unsavory characters who she's found herself acquainted with, the more she realizes that, you know, he has some sort of plan. And I think that if she ever was to come across him, like for conversation or something like that, she wouldn't automatically shut him out. She would listen to what he had to say.
Okay. That's interesting that she's willing to listen first. That tells you the type of person she is. Like,
yeah.
You know, where you have Tempest, you know, someone, I don't know, Tempest might listen, but, you know, you have heroes and you have villains and you got people who are willing to gauge and listen to the person's opinion to see whether they can call him evil or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more Harmony. I'm looking forward to just Gamma Haven season 2, period. But hey, Harmony, Nam Harmony. It's a pleasure speaking with you. We definitely are going to do this again. I'm going to be checking in with you to kind of get your insight on what's happening with your character in Gamma Haven and Village. And stay tuned for Kofane tonight, the live stream. Hopefully you can catch it. It'll be reloaded back up, but he's going to go into some things. And hopefully I'll be able to play with you in that game because you can have some cool characters. Your role playing, I love your role playing style. It's very interesting, and I think it would be fun to play with you in this shit.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I'll see you in Kofane. I'll try to get on the live stream, and we'll make it happen. Thanks for making P&D what it is, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
Awesome. Thank you. Peace out.
Adios.